the most expensive. At 𝐴𝐴 Group of Companies, we think of your satisfaction first and not your pocket. In tourism, ticketing, logistics, and hospitality education, we work hard because we know you deserve the best. Our new office in Texas, United States, adds to our growing global presence, and that's why our clients value us as partners. So come and let's make your experience a pleasant one. Contact us on 0806 413 5300 or 0808-702-7686. Email info@aerovesseltravel.com. Find us online at www.aerovesselinstitute.com or www.aerovesseltravel.com. 𝐴𝐴 Group of Companies. Your convenience, our satisfaction. I'm sure people are wondering, Osita Osadibe, why in London? Why? Well, we're about to get into that segment of the show. It's called Villa Square segment. And for those who've seen our advert, you know that that's always where we have a guest on our hot seat. How hot it will be, it's not going to be dependent on me. It's going to be dependent on Frank. But our special guest this morning, it's about that time that we will engage him. I knew him as our own Simon Cowell because I saw him on TV as a judge, as the nice judge on Nigerian Idol, and I always liked his own assessment of the contestants. I must say, he's here, so I mean, I'm not saying this behind you, so I like that, and He was that person who gave everyone a chance, you know, at least everyone who at least had a little bit of talent. And I think it's such a fantastic fit to have him as the Director General at the National Council for Arts and Culture. So once again, welcome to the show, Oዓይ Asɪdzoᴜ.
Thank you very much.
To start this out, before Frank engages you, who exactly is Oዓይ Asɪdzoᴜ?
How long do you have? How long do you have? I mean, I'm a Nigerian. I was born in Lagos. I'm from Onitsha. My mother was from Owerri. Music is part of my DNA.
So this is your brother.
Yeah, he can't escape me. Music is part of my DNA.
Yeah.
So is culture. So is life, antiquity, arts, literature. I was raised to believe that the highest level of life are the intellectuals and the academics, and that those who create are the gifted ones amongst us.
Absolutely.
And I was blessed with the ability to recognize talent, understand how to develop it, nurture it, and bring it to the fore. I've been doing that probably for 40 years, since I was about 12, 13. So that's me in a nutshell. But there's a lot of other stuff.
Sure. Unfortunately, we don't have that time on radio. But that nutshell is so concise. It's heavy, and we're pleased to meet you. Before we go on to ask you more questions, I just want to tell all our listeners this morning that you can actually watch the goings on in the studio right now because we are live. So just head to social media, any one of the platform, 0.3 FM, and you'll find us right there. And you can see everybody in the studio live and direct. So you can see that's Oዓይ saying peace to everyone this morning. Right. So, now we have met you, I'm going to hand you over to Frank to ask you one or two questions.
Bumi, I will throw those questions back to you and Tai. You young ladies should take Obi on. I know that Obi, one was DNA also that he's a ladies' man. But we're just saying that
in a good way.
In a good way. But I listened to Justin Ovad and they said, look, the something you need to do, you go to the showers. So I'm going to the showers with Obi this morning.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, my first question really is in NCAC, I'm sure, of course, a combination of new things, a lot of things you've done, from music, from the arts and all that. But this is, you're getting into the shower.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think properly and you come out with a lot of things you wanted to do. But I'm looking at the fusion. Because he told me of a long time, we met. I said, look, Frank, I want to fuse the youths to understanding our culture. And I keep on thinking about it. I saw the swag. And, well, actually, okay, I know the swag of the young persons these days, okay, but how is that going to fit into, this fuse that you want to bring into culture? Because people really need to understand that. The old people, I will play the Ʞᴅ to welcome you.
Yeah.
I also tell you that, look, all these ones are, to me, are still so meaningful that sometimes you may just think about it. It brings you back to a lot of things that we need to get right about this country. Does the swag fit into it?
The swag is in our DNA.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
If you come to Onitsha and you watch the Igwota of the Obi of Onitsha and the Abalanze, I remember when I was about 15, 16, I was a hip-hop head. I'm still a hip-hop head. And I used to go, anybody who's a music fan, you go and talk to your friends, your family, trying to get, have you heard this record? Have you heard that record? And I was doing that all the time. And one day my father said to me, come with me to Onitsha. So we got there, and I'm watching these guys dancing, and there's a particular dance they do with the hand. And I'm watching this thing, and he says, what are you people doing that's different? I said, yes. The foundation of black music is call and response.
Absolutely.
You will find it in Ogene, you'll find it in Oriki, you'll find it in Fuji. So the culture is always connected. It's just different generations and different perspectives. So, and unfortunately, I think a lot of Nigerians have ageism, where the older people are looking down at the younger people. All the younger people are doing is reinventing what you were doing when you were the same age. And once you understand that, then you can get past. It's like being afraid of technology. Once you understand that, okay, you're in a WhatsApp family group, okay, then that means you can use technology, right? So don't be afraid of it. For me, let us understand that 70% of the country is under 35, right? It's not about them being the future, they are the present. And what we need to do is sort of help guide them. I think one of the problems we've had in Nigeria is that, which I realize now, which I wish I really could have articulated it better when I was younger, is that we've never really translated our culture to each other. We make assumptions. A lot of those assumptions are based on negative conspiracy theories. So when you see a group of Igbo people running towards you saying, "Imba," you think it's a war dance. Actually, celebration. So you need to actually, yes, you need to be able to translate. Context determines what you're really doing. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, the Ofala in Onitsha, the Ojuri Oba in Ijebu,
yeah.
and the Durbar in the north,
Yeah.
all three are basically the same thing. The community presenting arms to the king.
True that.
Right? But nobody's ever told anybody this. Do you understand? And I keep telling my friends, I say, listen, we need to translate these things to each other so we can celebrate them. That's why the theme of NAFES this year is connected culture. It's not about, I mean, I really don't like this university in diversity. I feel like we're all connected.
Yeah.
Every Nigerian is actually from the same tribe, the Lower Bantu. We all have the same DNA, 98.5% the same. So sometimes when you read in the Bible, for those who are religious, if you read in the Bible, we talk about the Tower of Babel, where God separated man. It kind of feels like that Tower of Babel was in Nigeria. Because we're all the same.
Yeah, and we have the most languages.
So if you go pre-Islam and you go pre-Christianity, it's the same people, right? The North has exactly the same mythology and the same things as the South has. And it's one of my problems in the sense that because we sort of lost a lot of our agency through colonialism. So because of the interpretation that, when somebody wants to affect you and dominate you, it pushes you to diminish yourself and remove yourself from your essence. I was in Oyo town, I think a couple of weeks ago at the Shango Festival. I've been talking about Shango for 25 years. So what's the difference between Shango and Thor? And Nigerians will say it's packaging. I say, well, it's $30 billion. It's $30 billion is the difference because you've abandoned Shango. You left him for Greek mythology. It comes before Roman mythology. The entire Western construct is based on Greece and Rome. And what came before them? Egypt. What came before Egypt? Us. Who is Egypt? Egypt is Kemet and Kush. And next to each other is Black Africa. Forget what the movies are showing you. Go and read the history. And I think, I have problems with I have my brothers in the East who think they're Jewish. And I think, no, you can't be. The Jewish are your descendants. We are the ancestors. Okay? Iboku is at least 5,000 years before Jesus Christ is born. Same thing with Ife. Same thing with Nok culture. So let's stop chasing ghosts and remember that we are the beginning. And when you're the beginning, it's not just the beginning of humanity, it's the beginning of technology, of innovation, of mathematics. It all starts with us. But it seems like and it feels like narrative is very important. So narrative has dominated the world, especially from the West, as you know. And that narrative has sought to diminish the black man, his identity, his culture, and his essence. So until we reclaim our essence fully, we're still sort of reduced. And I think that's a real thing that I see, that I've seen. When I first got to the office, I reached out to all the states and I said, please, I'm trying to aggregate the cultural expressions in every state. I have a project called Origins. And Taraba State came back with 287 languages, not dialects. Plateau State, 200 languages. Wikipedia says we have 251 languages. I was like, we're going to have to change that up.
Wow.
We have to change it up. And that's just languages. I'm not talking about... Kano has 55 musical genres. Original, historical, right? So we have so much to uncover, so much in-depth about this country and about ourselves. And if you think about the fact that the global diaspora over the last 500-700 years that are African, 60% left from this place.
Yeah.
So the Brazilians are us.
And they're still tracing themselves back here.
We need to trace them.
We
need to trace them. I'm reaching out to everybody.
Oh, wow.
It was not going to sit back here and be pretending like as if they're not our people. When you're saying Bolt wins, I win. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
When Pele existed, Pele is probably Igbo or Yoruba. It sounds funny, but it's a fact. Because 1 in 2 black Brazilians have Nigerian descent.
Yes.
So where else is he going to be from? And I think when you do that, when you walk around the world, there's something we say, we always recognize a Nigerian. If I see a Nigerian 10 feet, 1,000 feet, I know he's Nigerian.
Yeah.
It's the same with the diaspora. Any room I'm in the world, I walk and I see a black person, there's a head nod. We greet each other. Whether anybody introduced us or not.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is something that is really, really important. And I think the most important thing about all of this is, how do we build... it's funny because the West has built its entire existence on narrative. And the Africans have been pretending as if narrative is not important. How you're speaking grammar. My brother, it's the grammar that defined you. It is actually that grammar that you're dismissing that is enabling everybody else. And our narrative has to come to the fore to give our children and their children the self-confidence and the ability to win in this world. When I tell people it's a white world, they say, what are you talking about? I said, because they defined it for you. Right? The rest of us are visiting in that world. But the Asians managed to retain...
Exactly.
They didn't allow it to happen. But everybody's different. We bring other things that they don't bring, right? Everybody brings their own sort of ingredients to the soup. To the soup. And I think black culture, and if you look at the West, in America specifically, the African Americans, they've defined the black man.
Yes.
They've given us the dignity, the opportunity to be seen, to be heard, and they've set all the trends. And even it's just now they're beginning to get the economic benefits from those trends by getting into ownership.
So we now need to begin to get those economic
we need to partner with them.
benefits. Okay.
If you look at the African Americans, they're probably the 8th biggest economy in the world. There are 45 million of them, right?
Yeah.
African American women, their annual spend on consumer spend is more than Africa's GDP. That just tells you our lack of productivity, right? And we know we have all the resources, but when people talk about resources in Africa, they're always talking about natural resources. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in human resources. That's the biggest resource on the planet. That's what we have.
Yeah.
And that's, you can't take it, because guess what? In 2050, we're 450 million. 2100, we're 750 million.
That's mind-boggling.
The Nigerians are not going anywhere.
Yeah, Obi. If you leave Obi, I think some of you will possibly go to sleep because it gives you the statistics. But again, we need to leave beyond the figures and begin to look at the realities as the case may be. I'm a realist. Okay, I like figures because it makes you to think. When you're under the shower, you think a lot. Okay, because the rain or the water keep on dropping on your head, and of course makes you to think. But before we go to the next question, and of course talk to Obi, we are going to actually look at because he's a music man, of course, looking at culture, we need to go back, to listen and see how it's going to turn out to be. So, Obi, in this whole entire ecosystem, definitely it is not something that somebody just jump into. I mean, you've been around for quite some time. You've been around for quite some time. Okay.
I'm not even talking about that.
Okay. Okay.
Lifetime of work.
Yeah, your lifetime of work. So you've been around. Also, you're here about almost 8 months, 9 months. March. Okay. So that's about 5 months
thereabouts. Yes.
Okay, and I'm sure you've gone through a lot and all those stuff. So we are not saying, what actually how are you going to put this thing together so that it can make meaning to us? Because that is actually the most important thing, that culture making meaning. Of course, we saw that in the last dispensation, when Roche was there, we got the governors bidding for, this cultural festival, which means a message has been translated. People are beginning to understand it. That is good business for the governors. You know how they are. They don't throw their money around anyhow. But for them to say, oh, Obi, I'm going to host this one next year. You are doing this here in Abuja. You are going to host, and I expect that Abuja should be hosting. I know the man is your friend too, because you've been around. I hope you throw money around, because we need that money to really translate this message. We need that money to really make it important for us, so as the case may be. So our microphone this morning, are we having technical issues? We're having issues. Are we okay? I wanted to call Amadi to come and handle it because...
yeah, that might help.
That might help.
So because Obi is here, so maybe they're trying to, some shakara and all those. They say you have not paid
Subliminal.
your dues. Okay, so Obi, let's take on that. Let's take the let's just answer that briefly, and then I'll hand over to the pretty young ladies, because actually the ladies make a lot of meanings when it comes to culture, isn't it?
Without the ladies, there's nothing. I think. Well, first of all, thanks a lot for the question. I mean, yes. I mean, I've been at the council for about 5 months, and it's been I think I know they're listening in, and meanwhile, let me just give a quick shout out to my team and my people. We're in a little bit of pain in the council. Some of our people in Maiduguri lost their homes. So thinking about them, praying for them. I think we're going to try and find a way to take care of that. But it's just the human reality of being in Nigeria. I think, first of all, the mandate of the council, first of all, is we're the convening agency for the ministry. It's a new ministry, which means that resources are a challenge and have been a challenge. I think the sector has principally been defunded for the last 20 years or so. And so it's a big ask to do the lifting, because a lot of the facilities are dilapidated and run down. People are demoralized, and you need to give them hope. And I think that's what I've been doing, first of all, to sort of give them the roadmap to the future, where we want to be and how we want to be. The most important thing being, first of all, being relevant and of service to the sector. To the players in the sector, to the leaders in the sector, the stakeholders. They know how to reach us. They know what we're supposed to do. And we're beginning to learn what we're supposed to do in terms of offering public services, access to market, access to information, support services. I think that's one part of it. The other part of it is also being clear in terms of a vision and a roadmap. We have a very clear roadmap. It's quite ambitious. People tell me all this, you shouldn't do too many things at once. I say, well, listen, it's Nigeria. There's a lot of things. A lot of things have to be done. And I have to bring my energy to that situation. Otherwise, we're not going to get them done. One of the things is that I met a very talented work pool. A lot of people who perhaps have not had the opportunity to express themselves. So we're trying, finding those people. I have 1,000 people. We have 20 locations in Nigeria. Trying to get around all these locations, have the resources to touch them physically and see them. I've made those promises to my team, and I will get to all of them. I've got to at least 2 different locations so far, but we just have also we had a pre-NAFEST event, we rebranded it, and we involved the subnationals in a different kind of way. We had a round table between the subnationals and the minister, which has never happened before. The minister had a 2.5-hour opportunity. The minister had developed a specific roadmap project for the subnationals called the Creative Renaissance Project, which was discussed extensively with them. Their input has been sought. Right now, we're waiting for that to come back in. Then she's going to take that to the National Executive Council with the governors, as you mentioned, to get the governors to really key into this and see what they can do to support every single one of their commissioners. Because as you know, it's not every state that they give the Commissioner of Culture audience with the governor. So we're trying to really support those commissioners to be able to push their agendas, because we've aligned the agendas at national and subnational level so we can speak in one voice. We've also been in a number of MOUs already with private sector partners, one for venues, reality shows, talent development, capacity building, because we're focused on the fact that we have an opportunity, but the possibility, most importantly, of upskilling Nigerians. The thing about it is, most of the Nigerians that play in this sector are playing from a position of intuition. Not necessarily that they had the specific training or the formal knowledge to really excel. And we know that if you up the level, they'll have better opportunities, they'll make more money. And in this industry, as many of you know, it's people work in 3-4 jobs at the same time. It's normal. And that way they can earn a living and pay for themselves. In every single village in this country, there's somebody who's the event planner, somebody who's the event manager, there's a photographer, there's a makeup artist. These are all my people. They're all part of our ecosystem. It's not just the guys on stage. It's not just the guys in the video dancing or the guys singing or the actor performing. It's the people behind the scenes, because that is the ecosystem, and that's what we're focused on. So we're focused on capacity building, we're focused on infrastructure, we're focused on talent development and talent management and discovery. So when Nigeria's Got Talent comes next to 1,000 people per state we go to, so if we go to 15 states, that's 15,000 impacted, right?
Yes.
At the grassroots level, specific courses around this industry.
Okay.
And you can register there, you can get free courses, free knowledge, you get access to resources, but it is coming to a further level of implementation, because that's in digital.
Yeah.
But as you would say, you have to go to the ground.
Physical,
game.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're building a network of hubs around the country, over 500. We start with our own core, 20 locations. We start with the ministry. Then we have Innovation Support Network, which is the technology innovation ecosystem. They have 198 hubs in 32 states. So that's on ground. I'm meeting with NITSDA in the next 2 weeks to collaborate again. So we're building collaborations both in the public sector and the private sector. And we're trying to bring culture to the center of the economy. It's not entertainment. It's not a sideshow. It's not something that you bring after. You start with it, because my mandate is to make it part of the living, breathing life of everything government does. Not just culture in the sense of culture on the wall, but culture is also pop culture. Culture is also food.
Yeah.
Culture is also fashion.
Yeah.
Culture is also movies, architecture, software, town planning, design.
Fashion.
It's life.
Anyway, like I said, we're going to fact check, and that's why I allowed Obi to do all this. So we're going to be fact checking me when like we said. I mean, that's what we do here, and we try to throw us
like that.
Okay.
Can't you tell us when this expo?
Yeah.
When?
Thanks a lot for asking me the INAC question. We have the 30th.
Okay.
In Abuja. I've made the specific request that we combine them. Same quarter for 2 different things. But we have a number of things that are different. Retro Gallery, Discovery Museum, a number of the others. The cooking competition, which this year is named Jollof Wars. We also have IYOR this year as a production experience, as a producer for live events from Beyond. As one of our many life, you may not have known that. So all of these things will be happening. I'm trying to bring some big artists. We want to shut down the stadium. It needs bits now. Shaka and boys are still touring in Europe at that time. Davido has a show, because I feel like, I'm part of the original story of Afrobeats and experience it. And I'm not talking about a hotel. I'm talking about a stadium show. I'm talking about coming out and seeing what a festival, festival feels like. 60,000, 50,000, not 5,000, not 3,000 sitting on tables. That's a banquet. That's a whole different thing. And live experience. I could say that there are companies that have already done 500 million views, because they created it into a product and an experience, right? So product and experience is critical. That's what we're about. I need to create a situation where the young people, if it's not relevant to the young people, I'm not interested in pulling out because there's the funny thing about music. There's a guy called Tᴏᴜᴜ. I don't know if you guys have ever come across him. Tᴏᴜᴜ is 97 by now. His conga drum that he plays is 79 years old or 80 years old by now. Rex Lawson's band. Tony has more energy than 99% of people, and their stories need to be told so that everybody understands. There is a journey. There's a roadmap to how you got to Ashake. There's a roadmap of how you got to what you're seeing today. And all those guys are part of this story. It's like not understanding Fela Kuti's role in the story and the evolution, or King Sunny Ade's role. You need to understand. And that's the point. IFES held in Lagos in 2022.
It did.
I didn't even know. And I said to them, if I didn't know, I can tell 90% of people didn't know. That means you've been talking to yourselves as government, not with the people. But if you're in the media and you cover it, then you know. Yeah. But actually, the people themselves are what we're concerned with. So I want people in Abuja to be excited. I want people worldwide to be excited. I'm talking with Essence Magazine tomorrow. I might be hosting a lunch to get people to really begin to think of NAFES as our own festag.
Wow.
All right. Before you go to Obi,
I'm excited already.
Before you go to Obi, I will want to disagree that maybe Obi is not in the country, possibly from River State
to state
to Kaduna to no space. So we leave that. Like I said, today is Obi's day.
To be fair, I've seen that. I'm not going to deny that.
Okay.
I've seen. I have the historical.
My own day. Then we'll now come back and say, oh, look, this go angle of all the whole thing. That's why we play a lot of music here. We have a music segment around here because in Nigerian music.
Can I make a request?
Sure.
So, you can. And that's what we want you to do with us this morning. We want you to dance with us. We want you to dance with us as we wrap things up on the show right now with Ashake, Lonely at the Top. And then we'll come back and react.
the top. Money.
Just killed your vibe.
Well, we don't have that time, unfortunately. It's been such an engaging episode this morning. But just a reaction to this music segment, Frank. First from.
Oh, well, there's something I should. I mean, you have the
to
whole
run
ideas
all these
and
ideas.
all these ideas. You don't have the money.
Yeah.
It's like speaking to the air. So next time it comes here,
Tell somebody.
we're just going to leave every other thing and then focus on really doing the doables, and then we leave the other ones that we felt that those are good to think about for tomorrow. But today, like I'm a realist, what can we do today and to get it right?
Yeah.
Nigeria is so big,
Yeah.
and of course we're going to enter into the world economy and say all what should come this way, because that's where the money lies. And of course we talk about Obi is about $100 million economy,
$100 billion.
$1 billion economy.
Billion.
So it is not just easy, okay? And now that we need all that money, they are sending us to say, okay,
Slow us down.
okay.
Everybody who's in this game, in this creative industry game, we're with you. We're here to support. And Styly, please, Jimmy Jab.
All right.
Okay.
That's all we'll be able to take on the show this,
Bye to
this
everybody.
morning.
Taye, Jolie, and MC Amebo. I'm sure he's going to find somewhere to make people laugh this time around.
I know.
And Bumi,
Yes.
we take the last shot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you same time next week. That's 10 a.m., same station, mainland 98.3 FM. Programming continues after this.